Welcome back. Last time we left off with an unfortunate report. We had not quite entered into the tier format, but now we have. We're 1 month in, and the latest MD set has added Goatee, which is cool. There's some Naturias in there as well, but overall it's not really what we were hoping for from a new set. It's replaced 2 packs and we didn't get 2, we only got 1, so we didn't really get anywhere near as many cards we thought we were getting. They've added animations for a few interesting things like Bastiles and Cash. I am quite worried that next month we're going to get Kashtira and Bastille in the same set, which will then render Bastiles unplayable up until Cyberstorm access cards come into the game and you can play branded. So that's a real shame that we're never really going to get the opportunity to play a Bastille deck in a Darkwing Blast kind of format, because Cash is just going to release with a Rysar and everything. In any case, since my last episode of this, where I recorded around, I think, 80 matches, I've recorded 200 matches in tier format. So we have a bit more of a range, a bit more wide of an area of what the format kind of looked like on ranked. Because I understand, obviously, the tournament reports, the Challenger Cups and MBT's Master Circuit Series, they certainly do help. We learn a lot about the format from those, but we don't hear what a ladder is like. Tournament setting is very different to the experience you're going to have playing on ladder as the average player. I've been able to get other people to play ladder for me, so I don't even need to do this anymore, and I get a much larger pool. So maybe I'll be able to expand that and we should get even more accurate ideas of what high rank ladder looks like going forward over the next few months. So I feel like this kind of video gives some information that you just wouldn't get from those tournament reports, because, let's be honest, top cut of a tournament or being tier, that's not a surprise. What you need to know is how often you're going to play against decks like tier, and what else you're going to play against on ladder. But I do have some other things to look into this video. As you'll notice by the title, I have been recording a few things. I put out a tweet a while ago asking what everyone's favorite mate was in Master Duel, and I got a lot of responses, a lot more than I was expecting, and since then I've been recording mates I run up against in Master Duel, and we now have around 880 responses to that, so we should have a pretty accurate view of what are the most popular mates, but I'll be continuing to record that over time and seeing how it develops. So let's start with the format itself. So it's of course a tier format, we're not exactly surprised by that. I would still equivalent this as tier 0, despite the fact that the percentages aren't as high as you might think. As you might expect, tier takes up a huge portion of the games you're going to play on ladder, 39% in the ones I recorded. This was 200 matches, 76 of them against tier. So obviously you still need to prepare for them, they're going to be your main thing you're playing against, but nowhere near as high as I think, top cut of a tournament. This is still a very large number, and in an online game like this, extremely unhealthy. You do not want to be playing as the same deck over a third of the time you're playing, but there is still at least a wide range of decks you can play against. Though looking at the rest, Second, Flu, Sword Soul, Exo, Hero, Adamancipator, Labyrinth, Branded, these are the same decks you're going to be seeing for the next few months as well. Like, you're just going to be playing the same selection of decks for 2/3 of the games you play, which is a little unfortunate. Though this does at least show, looking at this, that the format's a lot more varied than it looks like at first. You're still going to play against a lot of different decks. It makes it difficult to build for ladder specifically. There's not even any sidings, you have to build very general lists. I think that's why it can feel so difficult to beat tier, especially because you have no siding, and because they're only 40%, you can't build your entire deck just to beat tier, because 60% of games you're not going to be playing against tier. You can't be going all in on shifter, macro, and everything, and that's why no one's playing those decks anymore, because they didn't work against everything else on ladder. I don't imagine much is going to change with this in the next format, but I will let you know at the end of the month how things changed in May. Looking at some of the other example lists, though, you can still see, looking at the stats, there's a lot of different decks. You could play against Scrap, Madolche, Mathmech, Mayakashi. I'm surprised Mathmech didn't get more results, honestly. It's kind of weird that it's not very popular. But there's still people on Adventure, Blue Eyes, Drytron, Fluffle, Ghost Trick. A lot of Ishizu variants. Thunder Dragon is still very popular. There's some grass stuff still going around. Branded Tear is a thing. Striker. There's a few stun variants, not too many. A lot of Sprite, sort of lowering down. A lot of different variants, like Melfi Sprite and Life Twin Sprite. Those will probably increase, assuming they don't get hit when Tear gets hit. A lot of these things are probably going to bump up and equalize, of course, entirely depending on how good or how pre-hit Cash is. So yeah, I would still consider this a tier 0 format, even if it isn't exactly 50% or over or whatever. This is a huge, huge amount. It is really unhealthy to have this amount in an online card game. They really need to do something about this. And it's a shame that nothing seemingly is going to happen for maybe at least until the next ban list, which may be a couple weeks or even a whole month again. Now, here's one of my old favorite things to record, and one of the main reasons I started doing this: recording staples I encounter. Over 600 total matches since I started recording staples, and interestingly, in tier format, Maxi has finally overtaken Ashe as the most activated hand trap in the format. Not surprising, Ashe doesn't do that much against tier, but people are still on it. It's still very, very powerful into Maxi itself, but people are cutting down on it a little bit. It's not quite as powerful, and tier doesn't really necessarily need to resolve Maxi or stop Maxi in order to win, because they're that powerful. After that, it's pretty much the same as you might expect. Call by Imperm still incredibly high. A few going second cards, maybe going up a little bit. I think cards like Duster are dropping a little bit, back row removal. But Kaijus are staying relatively high. Talent is actually going up a little bit. Still not, particularly significant amount of games, but it's pretty much doubled, so it's definitely something to watch out for. Maybe it'll go up more, but it's probably just that something that's probably good into tier, because they're going to be using effects during your turn every game. They could be using effects on your turn 1 with Havness, so this is a reasonable thing to worry about. Crossout's still relatively high. It's a 1, but it still comes up a lot, and you need to play if you're on Max C. I expect this card to fully die if Maxi does, but it's not going to. Other than that, it's nothing particularly interesting. Everything you might expect. There's such a wide array of staples that people are playing. I think the only staples you need to play around in this format are Ashe, Call by, Maxi, and Imperm. Playing around anything else is kind of wasting your time, because they could be on 20 different things and there's no real way to predict it, because that's the way this format works. Okay, so the thing you've been waiting for, the moment you've all been dreaming for. What is the most popular mate? In the 5th place. A lot of these are little scrimblos, and of course, who is the most scrimbler of them all? It is Kuriboh. I'm very surprised that 2 Duel Pass rewards made it this high. I would have thought that, most people just don't play the game enough to get him. But I guess if you put enough time in to get these Duel Passes, most people that are, grinding them out are because they want the mate, and that represents very well with Kuriboh here in 5th place. Next up is another one kind of similar to the car, in that I think this is so high just because people are lazy, as well as, it is a nice mate. Rescue Rabbit has made it into 4th place. He's neat, he's cute, but I genuinely think like 90% of these are just people that never change their default mate. Alright, top 3 are ones that people can probably predict, and I'm going to line them up for you. We've got, of course, Totally Awesome, Beautiful Boy, Galatea, Woman, Laundry Dragon Maid, Utter Girl Failure Icon. But which one is the most popular? Which one is in 3rd place? We'll start with 3rd place. It is Galatea, the Orcust Spirit. She's, cool, but her animation isn't that interesting. She isn't the monster Galatea. She doesn't have a cool weapon and everything. She is, the post-story Galatea from Gearsu. I can understand why she has not made it as high as the 2 lovable scamps, but of course a very respectable position in 3rd. Alright, so here's the moment you've all been waiting for. Who is the most lovable scamp in all of Master Duel? Is it Laundry Dragon Maid, the Colossal Girl Failure, or Totally Awesome, the banned beautiful boys? In 2nd place, with 9.3% of all entries, and 82 entries. It is totally awesome. Laundry Dragon Maid is the best mate in Master Duel, as chosen by you and the other players of the game, you degenerates. Thank you very much. What am I doing? And here's the full chart so you can get the full statistics and everything. And here's all the ones that did not make it into the top listing. You know, just all the little ones. I got individual ones. I really like some of the ones at 1. It is very funny to me. There's like that one diehard user. I think there's a couple that didn't make it in here. There's probably a man that's coming out today, of course, because this is the day I want to finally upload this video that I've been pushing back for a while. You know, I'm finally trying to catch up on uploads, so you should see some more content soon. I've got some episodes of Just One Card planned, among other things. Thank you very much for watching, and I will bring you more statistics next month. Ban access code.